chugga, chugga, choo, choo. Here we go. Hop aboard the Storytime Express with me for another adventure. Take a look at our windows. Do you get a clue as to where we are? It looks like we're actually in a parade with some fire trucks today. Or maybe we're on the way to an emergency. All right, October is Fire Safety Month, so I thought it would be a perfect time to talk a little bit about fire trucks and fire stations and all that our firemen do for us. Let's jump right into our first story about Sprinkles, the fire dog. All right, and this one is written by Frank Vescugo. Sprinkles, the fire dog, isn't he cute? I'm not sure how many fire stations still have Dalmatians, but it was a thing in the past that Dalmatians would be a part of every firehouse. All right, here's Sprinkles. Here he is. Sprinkles was just a little puppy, and he lived in a big city. Sprinkles didn't have a family, and the big city was a lonely place for such a little dog. He tried to make friends with the other city dogs, but they laughed at him because he was so small and they were all so big. Plug the pug and the other mutts never left their street corner. They just sat around all day, every day, and made fun of the other dogs and cats. They teased Sprinkles the most because he was a Dalmatian with only a few small spots. "You're not even a Dalmatian," Plug laughed. "Dalmatians are big and strong and have many spots. You're tiny and you only have a few. And you can't even bark," said one of the mutts as Sprinkles walked away with his head hanging low. One day, Sprinkles was walking down the street when he heard the sound of large sirens coming closer and closer. The sirens scared Sprinkles, so he jumped behind a trash can and peeked his head to see what was making the noise. That's when he saw the grandest sight his eyes had ever seen, a huge red fire engine. And riding on the fire engine were 4 brave firefighters and a big, strong Dalmatian. At that moment, Sprinkles knew what he wanted to be, a fire dog. So Sprinkles went down to the firehouse. He was very nervous because he wanted the firefighters to like him. He looked around, but there was nobody in sight. No firefighters, no Dalmatian, only the big red fire engine. Sprinkles looked at the fire engine with wide eyes. He wondered what it would be like to ride on it. He imagined sitting in the front seat with his head out of the window, racing to a fire with the firefighters to go help people. Suddenly, loud bells started to ring. Sprinkles tried to hide, but there was no place to go. Out of nowhere, 4 firefighters came sliding down a pole and ran to the fire engine. Sprinkles tried to move out of the way, but they were coming from every direction. One firefighter almost stepped on him. Another firefighter named Frankie looked at Sprinkles and said, "Be careful, little pup. You might get hurt." Just then, the big, strong Dalmatian named Ember ran by Sprinkles and jumped onto the fire engine. And off they went with their flashing lights and loud sirens leading the way. Sprinkles just stood there, and he watched until the firefighter and the fire engines were out of sight. Across the street, Plug and the mutts were laughing. "See, we told you you couldn't be a fire dog." All 3 of them continued to tease Sprinkles as he lowered his head and he walked away. He felt sad and lonely. Later that day, Sprinkles was lying down on his own corner when he spotted the fire engine driving down the street in his direction. He quickly sat up to watch them pass, but instead they stopped right in front of him. Sprinkles was super excited. He thought they were stopping to see him, but he soon found out they just needed to refill their fire engine tank with the water from the fire hydrant. Sprinkles became sad again. He lowered his shoulders and began to walk away. "Hey, isn't that the little pup who was at our firehouse?" one firefighter asked. "Yes, that's him," Frankie answered. "I almost stepped on him." "Maybe we should take him back to the firehouse with us. We could use another fire dog." "No way," said the captain. "He's too small. He'll only get in the way." Sprinkles knew he had to prove himself, and so he took a deep breath and he tried to bark as loud and as strong as he could. But when he tried, nothing came out. The captain turned to Frankie and said, "You see, he wouldn't make a good fire dog. He can't even bark." The firefighters and their big, strong Dalmatian jumped back on the fire engine. Frankie knelt down to pet Sprinkles and said, "Don't worry, little fella. One day you'll be a little older and a little stronger like Ember. And when that day comes, you'll be a great fire dog." Sprinkles was so sad. He really wanted to be a fire dog, but he was starting to think that it was just a silly dream, that it wasn't going to come true. And after all, corner dogs only laughed at him, and firefighters only saw a little puppy when they looked at him. So the next day, Sprinkles walked around the big city feeling sorry for himself. He knew he needed a stronger bark inside him. He missed his chance to prove it. He started to believe what the corner dogs were saying about him. Maybe it was a silly dream. But then it came to him. The firefighters did not say no forever. They only said no for now. Sprinkles knew what he had to do. He decided he was going to work harder than ever before. Every day he ran as fast as he could and practiced his bark so that he would be ready the next time he had a chance to prove himself. A few months later, he was running so fast he could no longer hear the corner dogs laughing when he passed them. One night, Sprinkles was walking down the street when he smelled smoke. He looked up to see a fire coming from the window of a nearby house. He looked for someone to help, but there was no one around. He knew he had to do something, and so he took a deep breath and he barked as loud as he could. His bark was so loud that he couldn't even believe it. He kept barking until everyone knew that there was danger in the area. Suddenly, a man looked out of the window to see what was happening, and he realized the house was on fire. The man ran outside, and he rushed to Sprinkles and said, "Thank you, little puppy, you saved my life." But Sprinkles was not yet finished. He ran through the city streets as fast as he could, and faster than he had ever run before. He ran past Plug and the Mutts and all the way down to the firehouse, and he started barking again, this time even louder. Seconds later, Frankie, Ember, and the captain came running out of the firehouse. "What's wrong, little fella?" Frankie asked. "Why are you barking so much?" The captain took a deep breath and noticed the familiar smell of smoke in the air. "I think he knows where the fire is," she said. "Let's get the others. Let's go." Frankie yelled into the fire station, "Come on, we have a fire. This little pup is going to show us where it is." The firefighters and Ember jumped into the fire engine and followed Sprinkles as fast as he could toward the fire. Plug and the Mutts watched as Sprinkles ran by. They were so amazed to see the fire engine behind him. So they left their comfortable street corner for the first time in years to see what was going on. Sprinkles led the fire engine straight to the fire, and once the firefighters saw the smoke, they quickly went to work and put out the fire. After the fire, the man who lived in the house told the firefighters how Sprinkles saved his life. The firefighters gathered around Sprinkles. "Little buddy, I was wrong about you," the captain said. "If you still want to be a fire dog, we would love to have you on our team." Sprinkles barked proudly as the firefighters praised him for a job he had done. Frankie leaned over and said, "I knew you could do it, buddy. I'm proud of you." The firefighters, Embers, and Sprinkles drove away on the big red engine. Sprinkles never gave up. He never let the other dogs take his dream away from him. He worked hard and he believed in himself, and his dream became true. He is now a fire dog. The end. Isn't that a great story about Sprinkles the fire dog? All right, let's read another one. And this one is called Firehouse. And in fact, if you look at it, looks like there's Dalmatians as being the firefighters. All right. Edward wants to be a firefighter. One day he and Judy visit the firehouse. Edward tries on a shiny red fire hat. Mrs. Speckle, the fire chief, shows them around. "First, you can help wash the fire truck," she said. "Later, we will practice the fire drill." Everyone helps. "A clean fire engine is a happy fire engine," says the firefighter. Edward climbs into the driver's seat, and he steers to the right and he steers to the left. "This is where we live," says a firefighter. Suddenly, the alarm rings. "This is a fire drill," says the fire chief. The firefighters spring into action. Everyone hurries down the fire pole. Hang on, Edward, a firefighter calls. The fire engine speeds away. Judy opens the fire hydrant. The water is so strong it knocks Edward off his feet. Everyone works together. Edward practices going up the ladder, but he needs help coming down. Life-saving is a firefighter's most important job. They return to the firehouse, and after lunch, the alarm rings again. This time, it is a real emergency. A kitten is stuck up in a tree. Who will save her? Asks the firefighter. Edward volunteers. Let me! Edward climbs the ladder and rescues the kitten. Good work, the firefighters cheer. Edward saves the day. There's a big parade to celebrate. A firefighter needs rest, and it is bedtime at the firehouse. That was a really good book. It told us a lot about what's inside a firehouse, isn't it? And all the important things that they do. Now, if you're interested in fire safety and more about learning about what firefighters do, we have a theme kit for you. Here at the library, you can check these out in the children's department. So just go and ask one of the children's librarians and they will help you. This one, it looks like we start off with a puzzle. The pieces are obviously not in the puzzle right now because they're right here. But you can put this together. This would be a great family activity. We have a movie called Big Red. Spot goes to the fire station. Oh, and I spy counting the fire trucks. We have Danny the dog, who's a firefighter. Fred, who is a fire truck. Here's another fire truck story. And another one, Flick the Little Fire Engine. Fire trucks for kids. Oh, here's one about wanting to be a firefighter. Firefighter Adventures. Firefighter's Son. Fire safety, very important to learn about. And we have a Sesame Street book about firefighters. Lots of information, lots of fun stories, and a video and a puzzle. So come on down and grab this theme kit. It'd be a great teaching tool for you and your little ones. All right, so that is at the library. You can check it out with any good library card. We have one more book today, and this is Fire Truck is Flashing by Mandy Archer. The sun rises over the fire station. Fire truck waits behind the big red doors. It's very quiet upstairs. The crew is sleeping. Only Fox keeps one eye open. The fire alarm starts ringing. Fox leaps out of bed. The firefighters rush to put their boots on and zip up their coats. Fox is the first to slide down the pole. Fire truck is ready to go. Hurry, hurry! Fox grabs his helmet and climbs into the driver's cab. Fox flicks switches and pulls levers. Fire truck's motor starts to rumble and shake. The fire station doors spring open. Its lights shine bright. Vroom, vroom! The fire truck zooms out. This is an emergency. The fire truck races through the streets. The sirens wail. The red lights flash. The chief speaks to Fox on the radio. There is a fire blazing in an apartment building. The fire truck goes even faster. Fire truck screeches to a stop outside the apartment building. Flames lick the building and the smoke billows out. Fox quickly unrolls the fire truck's hose. Fox finds a hydrant and connects the hose. Whoosh! A jet of water hits the flame. The chief car pulls up. He points to the top floor. Someone is stuck inside. The crew unfolds fire truck's ladder. There's not a second to lose. Fox puts on his mask and his air tank. The smoke will make it hard to breathe. Fox climbs to the top of the ladder. It is very hot and there's a lot of smoke. The police hold everyone back to keep them safe. A woman waves from the top floor window. It will be difficult to reach her. There she is. The fire truck needs to move closer. Fire truck edges back a little bit and the ladder goes up again. Now Fox can reach. He carefully breaks the black glass and he carries the woman out. The crowd gives a big cheer. And when the last flame has been put out, the firefighters put away their tools and wind up their hose. The fire crew drives back to the station. It has been a busy day. Fox is very proud of Fire Truck. Let's take a look at the fire truck. Boys and girls, if you ever get a chance to go visit the fire station, they will show you here in town all these cool things. The ladders, the water tanks, the pump, all the hoses, all the things that help them breathe, the toolbox, the siren, the warning lights. Very cool. And then here are some other emergency machines that you might see on the road, like the police car, a helicopter, an ambulance, a motorbike. Pretty cool story, and that was called Fire Truck is Flashing. All right, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining me here on the Storytime Express and having an adventure with the firefighters and the fire trucks. Join me again soon, and we will have another adventure here on the Storytime Express. Bye.